Bo Nickal was once seen as the guy who could beat anyone in the UFC middleweight division, but after just one loss, everybody seems to be turning on him. How did it all fall apart? Let's take a look at the bumps in Bo Nickal's MMA journey to find out. Bo comes from one of the best wrestling backgrounds in America, and he proved it by winning the NCAA Division I championship 3 times in a row, in 2017, 2018, and 2019. Bo's next big dream was the Olympics, but when that didn't work out, he set his sights on MMA because giving up just isn't in his nature.
And it doesn't matter what kind of challenges you face, what comes in front of you, how many times you fail, how many times you get embarrassed. Just freaking get up, bro.
Yeah, you don't
quit.
Yeah, you just keep going until you win.
Bo Nickal kicked off his MMA career at Jorge Masvidal's Icon FC event, facing John Noland, who was brutally knocked out cold. After Bo Nickal's explosive MMA debut, Dana White didn't waste a second and reached out to Nickal's team, inviting him to fight on the Contender Series. What happened next was nothing short of shocking, but before we move forward, subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications. Now just 2 months later, Nickal faced Zachary Borrego in August 2022 at DWCS 49, where he finished the fight with a rear naked choke.
I'm 2-0 now, early in my career, and at the end of the day, I'm not here to get a UFC contract. I'm here to be UFC champ and the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. So that's what's on the horizon for me. And yeah, would love to get the contract, and that'll be a step in my career. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be all the way on the top of the mountain.
Despite Bo's big win, Dana White wasn't fully convinced just yet. He wanted to see more from the wrestling phenom, so he invited Nickal back for a second Contender Series fight, and Nickal was more than happy to accept. In his return at DWCS 56, Nickal faced Donovan Beard, who was dropped and then submitted in under a minute. Dana White was finally impressed.
Yeah, incredible, man. Kid's incredible. He looks great. Obviously a big step up in competition this time, fighting somebody 7-1, reach advantage, height advantage, and the kid's confidence in himself is unbelievable. His game is amazingly well-rounded, and yeah, it was impressive.
After back-to-back dominant wins on Dana White's Contender Series, the hype around Bo Nickal was real and growing fast.
All I'm saying is, it's been a long time since we've seen a prospect with this kind of ceiling. And so what is the ceiling? I think he could be the top 15 guy right now.
With expectations sky high, Nickal needed to deliver something special in his UFC debut, and he didn't miss a beat. Bo Nickal made his UFC debut in March 2023 at UFC 285, taking out Jamie Pickett in under 3 minutes to make his presence felt in the division.
Wow, 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 wow. I don't have any other words to describe this guy. He is what I call a once-in-a-lifetime type of talent.
Despite pulling off an excellent performance, Bo himself believed he could have done a lot better.
No, I absolutely could have done a lot of things better. I was just talking with my coach, and I got to stop throwing high kicks right away because I've 2 out of my 4 fights I've fallen on my butt, looked like a dummy. But yeah, that was fun, little slip there, all good. But yeah, no, I think overall the performance was as expected, not exceptional, just as expected, and I'm grateful to go out there and not get hit and get the win.
A few months later at UFC 290, Bo Nickal faced Val Woodburn, who stepped in last minute and got knocked out cold in 30 seconds.
Just how'd you feel about the performance in there?
I felt good. To me, that's just a big credit to my team, American Top Team, and my coaches. I'm just so grateful that I have them in my corner, and to be able to do something like that as a wrestler, it means a lot to me because of those guys and how much they put into me. Musa Al-Suleimani, Barry Robinson with A Million Styles Boxing, Mike Brown, Ailton Barboza. I'm just so grateful to have such awesome coaches. And like I said, I wouldn't be able to do that without those guys.
Nickal's next UFC fight came at UFC 300, one of the biggest stages in the sport, where he faced Cody Brundage on the main card. The fight was a considerable step up in competition, but Nickal showed he belonged among the elite as he mixed striking with takedowns to secure a submission win in the second round. It was another solid win for Nickal, but he knew he had to make quick improvements to reach his full potential.
That being said, I think there's a lot to improve on, a lot that I could have done differently, but I'm grateful for the experience,
Bo's goal was to be the best in the world.
I'm out to be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. So that's what I want to do. That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I'm going to accomplish in the next 5 years.
To reach his goals, Bo knew he needed to make quick improvements and face some of the toughest fighters in the division. His next big test came in the form of Paul Craig, who was confident that his BJJ would dismantle Bo's wrestling.
If I was Bo Nickal, what I would do is I would hold for dear life. But I believe that my skill set can just get a little bit of space, and if I get a little bit of space, it's a dangerous situation for Bo Nickal to be involved in.
Bo, however, begged to differ.
I think that it's just a step up in competition. For me, who I fight doesn't matter as much as the way I'm developing and improving and in the sport. So, I think he's a guy that has a ton of experience. He's a guy that poses a lot of danger and some interesting problems to solve. And so it makes sense for my career and where I'm at. It's not really anything personal at all. It's just another challenge and another step in the direction that I'm headed. And so I'm excited for it. This is the biggest challenge that I've had. I think everybody would agree to that. And I'm going to make the most of it.
On fight night, Nickal controlled the action from start to finish using both his wrestling and striking. It wasn't the flashiest performance, and the crowd even chanted "overrated" at him, but he still walked away with a solid win after 3 rounds.
I think that I came in open, and as I'm winning the striking battle, I'm not really feeling a lot of resistance from him. I'm not feeling any takedown attempts, so I had a big advantage on the feet, so I kept it there. I didn't see any sense in taking him down, putting him in his best position, and making to me what would have been just a bad decision, a low IQ decision. So kept it on the feet, dominated the whole time, and got the win.
First MMA loss, Reinier de Ridder. With one BJJ specialist already behind him, Nickal was now set to face an even more dangerous threat. Former 1 championship 2 division champ Reinier de Ridder, a submission master who had a stern warning for the wrestling ace.
I've been taking down guys since before he was even wrestling, so yeah.
Good headline,
On fight night, de Ridder didn't even need to rely on his grappling as the two traded strikes on the feet for most of the fight. Nickal struggled to keep up and ended up getting stopped halfway through the 2nd round. After the fight, Bo faced heavy criticism, with many calling him exposed and overrated, but he didn't stay quiet and fired back at his haters by warning that he'd spit in their faces.
For me, I look at that and all I say is just suck my at the end of the day, say what you want, but when I get back on top and when I'm the freaking champion of the world,
They're all crawling back.
you all come crawling back.
They always do.
They always do. They always do. And I'll spit right in your face.
Needless to say, Nickal is more fired up than ever, determined to silence the doubters and prove his critics wrong.
How often is it that, guys lose a fight or undefeated prospect lose a fight and then everybody, all of a sudden is like, this guy's trash, he's garbage, you got fraud checked. And that's the way that the world works. It's the way that the business works. And so again, it's not a surprise for me, but it's definitely motivation. It's fuel for the fire. And as soon as that fight ended, even just traveling back to our Airbnb with my coaches, all I wanted to do was just get back into training and get back to improving and getting better. And
after a tough loss in his first real test, Bo's back is firmly against the wall, and he's now got a mountain to climb. But he's not alone, because another UFC fighter in a similar spot is Davison Figueiredo. And to dive into his story, check out this video.